to deliver this to you, and I don't say that lightly. Because these cards, they are not playing around. From the very first pull, the energy around this person is dense, it is heavy with feeling, it is heavy with you. And that's what I want to start with today. Not the drama, not the confusion, not the back and forth. I want to start with what is actually true. And what is true is that this person is obsessed with you, not in a surface way, not in a passing, casual kind of way. I mean, obsessed in the way where you become someone's first thought in the morning, or something happens during the day and their mind immediately goes to you. Where they hear a song and have to stop what they're doing because it sounds too much like how they feel. That's where we are with this energy right now. Let me pull the first card for where things stand between you two. Okay, so right away I'm getting the Star. And I feel like this is Spirit saying you are their beacon. You are the thing they keep their eyes on, even when they don't say it. Even when they go quiet, even when days pass and you start to wonder if they've moved on. They haven't. The Star doesn't lie, and it doesn't show up for someone who's indifferent. This is someone who sees something in you that they genuinely believe is rare, and that belief keeps them anchored. It keeps them returning, even in silence, even in distance. Even when pride gets in the way, I feel like this person has tried to talk themselves out of how they feel. I feel like they've sat with themselves and said, okay, I need to let this go. I need to stop giving this person so much space in my head. And then something happens, a memory surfaces out of nowhere. A dream catches them completely off guard. A song comes on and suddenly it's all right there again. Everything they were trying to set aside just comes flooding back. Because you don't just walk away from a connection like this, you can try. But it doesn't stick, not when it's real, not when it runs this deep. Let me pull another card. The Two of Cups comes out, and I feel like this is so significant because the Two of Cups is not just attraction. It is recognition. It is two people who, on some level, already understand what they have. And I feel like this person knows. They know this isn't just anyone. They know what they walked into when they came into your world. And even if things got complicated, even if there was distance, even if words were left sitting in places they were never actually spoken, that knowing didn't leave, it's still right there, sitting in the middle of their chest. And they feel it every single day. Now I want to pull one more card before we dive fully into this reading. Here's the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is the heart of everything. This is pure, unfiltered emotion. This is feeling that hasn't been touched by fear or ego or timing. This is how they actually feel underneath all of it. And I feel like this card is confirmation that whatever started between you two, it didn't close. It's still wide open on their end. Still pouring, still reaching toward you. I want you to sit with that for a second because I feel like a lot of you watching have been second guessing yourself lately. You've been wondering if you made this connection bigger than it was. You've been wondering if what you felt was even returned. You didn't imagine it, what you experienced was real. What they feel is equally real. And these cards are confirming every bit of it right now. I also feel like some of you have been putting on a brave face, acting unbothered, acting like the silence doesn't get to you. Acting like you haven't checked your phone more times than you'd care to admit. Spirit sees you, and the message coming through is this. You don't have to pretend it doesn't matter, because it does matter. And the feeling you carry, that quiet pull, that persistent certainty that this isn't finished, it's not in your head. It never was. I also want to acknowledge something before we move forward. Some of you found this reading because you were looking for a reason to hold on, and some of you found it because you were about to let go. Either way, you were meant to be here. On their end, it is completely and totally mutual. So let's keep going. Because this reading goes so much deeper than just where things stand right now. We are going to get into your energy, their hidden truth, what's shifting, and what this person has never once said out loud. Stay with me. This one is for you. Now let's talk about you, because I feel like this reading isn't just about what they feel. It's about what you've been carrying. And I want to look at your energy right now, where your heart actually is in all of this. Because I feel like you've been in a very specific kind of emotional place lately. And I want to name it. Let me pull a card specifically for your energy right now. The Four of Cups comes out. And this is interesting because the Four of Cups is about being so deep inside your own thoughts that you almost miss what's right in front of you. And I feel like that's exactly where you are right now. But because you've been so focused on trying to figure things out, trying to make sense of why things went quiet, trying to understand what you did or didn't do, trying to decode silence. And in the middle of all that analyzing, you've almost stopped trusting what you actually know. And what you know is that this connection is real. You feel it in a way that's hard to explain to people. You feel it in a way that doesn't fully make sense on paper, but you feel it. And I want you to trust that because your intuition on this person is not off, it has not been leading you somewhere that is not real. You are picking up on something that is genuinely real. These cards are confirming it right now. Let me pull another card for you. Here's the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is someone who leads with their heart. Somebody who feels things very deeply. Somebody who isn't afraid to love fully when they know the feeling is worth it. And I feel like that is you in this connection. You came into this with your whole self. You didn't hold back. You didn't play games. You showed up as you actually are. And I think part of what's been hard is exactly that vulnerability, because when you give someone that much of yourself and then things get uncertain, it hits differently. It isn't just disappointment. It's this very specific kind of ache where you're not just missing the person, you're missing who you were when you were with them. You're missing the version of yourself that felt seen. I feel like this person made you feel seen, and that is not something you just move past by deciding to. And so a part of you has been waiting, not desperately, not in a way that feels out of control, but quietly. Patiently, like you already know this isn't the end. You just don't have the full picture yet. And I want to tell you that knowing is right. Let me pull one more card for your energy before we move forward. The Queen of Cups comes out. And I love this for you because the Queen of Cups is someone who has an extraordinary depth of emotional intelligence. Simone who processes things deeply before they speak. Simone who doesn't react impulsively, but who feels everything and holds it with a kind of grace. That is who you are in this situation. You have not fallen apart. You have not burned this down. You've been sitting in your own power, even when it didn't feel like power, even when it just felt like waiting. And I feel like that restraint, that grace, that decision to hold yourself together while still holding space for this, that is one of the things about you that this person genuinely cannot get out of their mind. They notice it even from a distance, even in silence. They notice who you are, and it draws them. It keeps drawing them back to you because people like you are not common, and they know that. On some level, they have always known that I also want to address something I'm picking up for a group of you specifically. I feel like there was a moment in this connection where something shifted, a specific moment you've been replaying in your mind, wondering if that moment is the reason things changed. I feel like you've been carrying some quiet guilt around it, and I want to gently say that's not the full picture. Because what I'm seeing in these cards is that the shift wasn't about something you broke. It was about something they needed to work through, something internal to them, something that had nothing to do with your worth. So stop shrinking. Stop wondering if you're too much or not enough. Stop questioning whether what you feel is even reasonable. It is reasonable. You're what this connection needs. And we're about to see just how clearly they feel that let's keep going. And before we move on, I want to say one more thing. I feel like there was a moment in this connection where something shifted. I feel like you've been carrying some quiet guilt around it. But what I'm seeing in the cards is that the shift wasn't about something you broke. It was about something they needed to work through. Something internal that had nothing to do with your worth. You are enough. You are truly enough. And these cards are confirming it right now. Now let's go to their side, because I feel like this is the part of the reading you've been waiting for. You want to understand what's actually going on with them. Why the distance? Why the silence? Why someone who feels this strongly hasn't just said it? And I want to answer that as honestly as I can. Let me pull a card specifically for their energy right now. The Knight of Swords comes out reversed. And here's what this is telling me. This person is someone who thinks fast, they move fast, they make decisions quickly and then second guess them slowly. And I feel like that's exactly what happened here. They moved in a direction and then something inside them pulled back, not because the feeling changed, but because something scared them. And the reverse Knight of Swords is very specific about what that fear looks like. It's the fear of moving too fast and losing control of the outcome. It's the fear of wanting something so much that it could actually hurt them. And I feel like that's where they are with you. They want you so much that it genuinely frightens them, not in an unhealthy way. In the way where the stakes feel real, where they know this isn't something they can just walk back from casually. Let me pull another card for them. Here's the Devil. And I know that can sound alarming, but stay with me. Because in this context, the Devil is not about anything dark. It's about attachment. It's about being bound to something you can't release even when you try. And I feel like this is exactly what's happening with them. They are attached to you in a way that feels almost involuntary, like they didn't choose it, it just happened. And now it lives in them and they don't know what to do with it. I feel like this person has a pattern of pulling back when feelings get too intense, not because they don't care, because they care too much. And somewhere along the way, they learned that caring too much leads to getting hurt. So there's this habit, this almost reflexive retreat when vulnerability shows up. And with you, the vulnerability showed up very early, very real, very fast, and it caught them off guard. Let me pull one more card for them. The Hermit comes out. And the Hermit is someone who withdraws to process, someone who needs to go inward before they can come outward again. And I feel like that is what's been happening. They have not been out here living their best life unbothered. They have been sitting with themselves, sitting with this, trying to figure out what they actually want and whether they're brave enough to go after it. And I want you to know something about Hermit energy. It always ends, the Hermit doesn't stay inside forever. Eventually, the Lantern leads them somewhere. And what I'm seeing in these cards is that the somewhere is back to you, not because they have no other options, but because no other option satisfies them the way you do. I also feel like this person has been watching you from a distance, not in a strange way, in the way where they check in on your energy without making it known, in the way where they keep track of you even when there's no contact. And every time they check in, it reminds them every single time of why they haven't been able to let go, of why moving on hasn't worked, of why you are still the name that sits at the top of their mind. So yes, they're processing, they're scared, they're in their own head, but none of that means they're gone, and none of that means this is over. What it means is that something is building inside them, and we are about to look at exactly what they are going to do with it. I also want to say something about their habits specifically, because I feel like this person has a very particular way of dealing with emotions they don't know how to handle. They go busy, they distract themselves, they fill up their time so they don't have to sit with what they feel, and then something breaks through. And when it breaks through with you, it breaks through hard. I feel like this person has had moments, quiet moments, usually late at night, where everything they've been suppressing just surfaces. And in those moments, they think about you, about what this could be. And I feel like those moments are becoming more frequent, not less. The more time passes, the louder it gets inside them. Because that's what real feeling does. It doesn't get quieter with distance, it becomes clearer. And they are starting to feel that clarity, starting to understand that whatever they've been running from isn't actually going to disappear just because they don't acknowledge it. It's still there. You are still right there. They know it now. All right, so now let's talk about movement, because I feel like this is the part that's going to hit the hardest. This is what they are actually about to do, not what they're thinking about, not what they've been considering. What is coming? Let me pull the first card for what's shifting in their energy right now. The Wheel of Fortune comes out. And when I see the Wheel of Fortune in a reading like this, I get very specific chills. Because the Wheel of Fortune is not about if, it is about when. It is the card of cycles turning, of things coming back around, of timing that was always going to land exactly where it was supposed to. And I feel like something has shifted in their timeline very recently, like something clicked into place for them. Some kind of realization, some kind of internal permission that they finally gave themselves. And that permission is moving them towards you. I don't feel like this is something they're going to drag out much longer. The wheel doesn't spin slowly. When it turns, and it is turning right now. Let me pull another card. Here's the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands is rapid movement. It is communication that's been held back, finally being released. It is action after stillness. And I feel like this is very literal. I feel like a message is coming. For a lot of you watching, I feel like they are going to reach out. It may not be a grand declaration, it may not be everything you've been waiting to hear all at once, but contact is coming, and the energy behind it is intentional. This isn't an accident. This isn't boredom. This isn't them just checking in. This is them deciding. This is them choosing. I also feel like the way they come back might surprise you a little because I don't feel like it's going to be dramatic. I feel like it's going to be almost soft, like they're testing the water before they jump in. Like they need to feel that you're still there before they say everything they actually want to say. So if you get a small message, a casual comment, something that seems like nothing, pay attention because it is not nothing. It is the beginning of something. Let me pull one more card here. The Lover's card comes out. And listen, the Lover's in this position after everything we've seen in this reading is enormous. The Lover's is a choice, a real conscious, deliberate choice. And I feel like this person is in the process of making it not the choice to like you. That was never even a question. The choice to actually show up to do something with what they feel, to stop letting fear be louder than what they know. And I feel like they are almost there. I feel like whatever internal battle has been happening inside them is reaching a resolution. And the resolution is leaning very strongly towards you. I also feel like something external is about to shift too, like a circumstance, a change in their situation, something that clears space for this. That removes one of the barriers that's been in the way. And when that clears, you're going to see a very different version of this person step forward, a braver version, a version who has decided they are done holding back. Now, I want to go even deeper into what this shift looks like in practice, because I feel like some of you are wondering, okay, but what does this actually mean for me? What should I expect? I feel like for a lot of you, the first sign of movement is going to be something small, something almost easy to dismiss, a text that quietly references something from before, something that says, I'm still here without saying those words directly, and I want you to be ready for that. Because I feel like if you're closed off, if you're in full protection mode, you might miss it because they are reading you just as much as you've been reading them. They are watching to see if the door is still open, and the cards are saying, keep it open. Not wide open, not anxious, not waiting by the door. Just open because what's coming toward you doesn't need you to chase it. It just needs you to be ready to receive it. I also feel like for some of you, there may be a conversation coming that finally addresses the unspoken things. The things that have been sitting between you two, and I feel like that conversation, when it happens, is going to feel like relief. Like both of you can finally breathe again. So stay steady, stay in your power. Because what is moving towards you right now is exactly what you have been feeling was possible all along. Something is turning. Something is already in motion and it is moving directly, steadily, surely toward you. It is real. Now we get to the part they would never say, the things that live inside them that haven't made it into words, the confessions that sit just beneath the surface of every interaction, because I feel like this person has a lot of unsaid things when it comes to you, and I want to give voice to them, not to expose them, but because I feel like you need to hear it. Let me pull the first card for their hidden truth. The moon comes out, and the moon is the card of everything beneath the surface. Everything that doesn't get spoken, everything that operates in the shadows of a person's inner world. And I feel like what's beneath the surface for this person is longing, deep, aching, relentless longing. I feel like they miss you in a way they haven't admitted to anyone, not to their friends, not to themselves fully, because admitting it would make it too real, and making it too real would mean having to do something about it. I feel like there are moments where they pick up their phone, start to type something, and then delete it, not because they don't mean it, but because they can't figure out how to say it without sounding like too much, without giving too much away, without showing exactly how deep this goes, and so it stays inside. But I want you to know what it is, what they would say if they could just say it. Let me pull another card. The Nine of Cups comes out, and the Nine of Cups is about deep inner satisfaction and desire. It is what someone truly wants when no one is watching. And I feel like what this person wants is you, not a version of you, not a more convenient version, not a version with less intensity or less depth. You exactly as you are. I feel like physically this person is very drawn to you in a way that catches them off guard sometimes, where they'll think of you and feel it in their body before they feel it in their mind, where proximity to you, even the memory of proximity, does something to them. I feel like the physical pull is just as strong as the emotional one, maybe stronger, and that combination, the emotional depth and the physical pull together, that is not something that goes away. That is something that builds. Let me pull one more card here. The Page of Cups comes out, and the Page of Cups is innocent, unguarded feeling. This is the card of someone wanting to say something tender, something they've never quite had the courage to say. And I feel like there are specific things this person has never said to you, things that have been sitting with them. I feel like they want to tell you that you changed something in them. That before you, they were more closed, more certain they didn't need this kind of connection. And then you arrived and something shifted without their permission. I feel like they want to tell you that they think about you more than they let on, that silence from them is never indifference, that when they go quiet, it is never because they've forgotten. It is because they're feeling too much and don't know how to carry it out loud. I feel like they want to tell you that being around you feels like the most natural thing they've experienced in a long time. And that terrifies them because the most natural things are the ones you can lose. And losing this is the thought they can't sit with, so they don't say it. They hold it, they carry it quietly. I also feel like this person has something very specific they've wanted to say about regret. I feel like they regret the silence in a very pointed way, like they can name the exact moments where they wish they had chosen differently, where they wish they had just said what was true instead of retreating. And I feel like part of what's been happening for them internally is a kind of reckoning with that. A facing of the fact that holding back hasn't protected them, it only made more distance, and I feel like they are tired of the distance, genuinely, deeply tired of it. I also feel like there's a physical memory of you that stays with them, a specific moment or a specific image that keeps coming back. The way you looked when you weren't performing for anyone, the way you felt when they were near enough to feel you. And I feel like that memory is one of the things that keeps dismantling every attempt to move on, because it's not just an emotional memory, it lives somewhere deeper. I feel like if they could say one thing to you right now without consequence, without fear, it would be this: you matter to me more than I've let you see, and I'm sorry for every moment I made you doubt that. That is the confession. That is the truth underneath all the quiet hold on to it. All right, we are almost at the end of this reading, and I feel like this last section is the one Spirit really wanted to land for you, because this is where we look at what's coming, the near future, the outcome, and the guidance that wants to come through specifically for you right now. Let me pull the first card for your near future. The Sunday comes out, and I want you to feel that for a second. Because after everything we've walked through in this reading, after all the complexity, after all the hidden feelings and the fears and the silence, the Sunday shows up for your future. The Sunday is clarity. The Sunday is warmth coming back after a long, cold stretch. The Sunday is something good breaking through. And I feel like this is Spirit saying what's coming next for you in this connection is not more confusion. It is not more silence. It is not more wondering. What's coming is openness. What's coming is warmth. What's coming is a version of this story where you can finally breathe. Let me pull another card for the outcome between you two. Here's the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is emotional fulfillment. It is the card of things landing where they were always supposed to land. It is the card of connection that actually holds, of two people finally getting out of their own way and choosing each other. And I feel like this is where this is heading naturally, the way things that are meant to happen tend to happen. I feel like there is a version of this story where you two stop circling and actually land. And the cards are saying that version is not a fantasy. It is the direction this is moving. Let me pull the advice card for you. The strength card comes out, and this feels so right for where you are. Because strength is not about being hard. It is about being soft and certain at the same time. It is about holding your ground without force, about knowing your worth without having to announce it, And I feel like the guidance for you right now is this: keep being you. Don't shrink this. Don't convince yourself. It's not worth hoping for. Don't let the weight make you cynical. Because what's coming towards you genuinely requires you to be open. It requires you to still believe in this. And you do believe in it. That's why you're here. That's why this reading found you today. I also want to say something before we close. For those of you who have been patient, who have held on without losing themselves, who have trusted this quiet knowing inside them, even when everything around them was uncertain, I feel like Spirit is saying, thank you for not giving up. Thank you for trusting the feeling. Because the feeling was right, it has always been right, and what's on the other side of this waiting period is worth every single moment of it. I feel like very soon something is going to shift in a way you can feel, not just hope for actually feel. And when it does, I want you to remember this reading. Remember that you knew before it happened, before they said it, before anything changed on the outside, you already knew. Because that's who you are. Someone who feels things truly. Someone who sees connections for what they really are. Now let me pull one final card, a message card. Something Spirit wants to leave with you specifically. The world comes out, and the world is completion. It is something coming full circle of a journey that has been long and uncertain finally arriving at its destination. And I feel like part of what this connection has been doing is teaching you something about yourself, about who you are when you love without certainty. And the world is saying that lesson is almost complete. And what comes after it is something that feels whole, something that feels finished in the best way, like something clicking into place. I also want to give you one final piece of guidance before we close. Whatever you do in the next few days, stay in your energy. Don't reach out of anxiety. Don't pull back out of fear. Just be where you are. Because what's coming towards you is drawn to who you actually are, to who you are when you're just being. That is who they fell for completely. That is who they think about most. That is who they keep moving